coming up. It's the evolution of one of my favorite artists ever. As a Gen Xer, coming of age in the 80s, there were only a dozen artists or bands that I got genuinely excited for when news of, new song or record would come out. Back in the day before social media, such news would come from MTV or the radio or a rock magazine. It was back when an album was truly an event. Many of you watch and remember that indescribable feeling. It was like that wake up on Christmas morning magic that felt like you were on top of the world. That discovery. Well, today's guest is one of those magical artists for me. When he first hit the mainstream in 1986 with his unique piano playing, especially on the song The Way, it became the most unlikely #1 hit of the 80s. It didn't sound like anything on 80s radio. I mean, it had no distinct chorus, and it was truly serious social commentary alongside the typical pop fare of 1986 and 87, where everybody was Wang Chunging and walking like an Egyptian. But that's why I fell in love with Bruce Hornsby's music. He was always naturally zigging when the mainstream was zagging. And that's why he became one of my favorite artists, because he's always been a true musical explorer. Well, I had a chance to talk to Bruce about his greatest songs and his new album, which is amazing. I talked to him about The Way It Is and Mandolin Rain, also his collaborations with fellow artists that have pierced our very souls, like The End of the Innocents with Don Henley. I Can't Make You Love Me with Bonnie Raitt. Man, one of the most heart-wrenching songs ever. So we're going to get into it. Music Junkies, it's time for another episode of our series Evolution. It's the show where we tell the story of an artist's career through their most defining tracks across their major albums, an A-side and B-side from each record. Today I'm going to focus on Bruce's first 4 albums plus his new one. These may not be an artist's most popular songs. They may not even be my personal favorites, but each song will take you from the beginning to the end of an artist's journey at a particular point in their career and showcase the evolution of their sound and their artistic direction in that period. All right, we're going to go into it. Bruce Hornsby was on his way to being a baller as a standout player in his high school team, but he heard one record from his brother and it changed everything. Here's what he told me.
My older brother, I would say late 10th grade. My older brother was a senior in high school. Maybe I was late 9th grade. He puts an 8-track into the 8-track machine in the car, and out comes Amarina. It sounds crazy to think that Elton John's second record, Tumbleweed Connection, was sort of underground, but it was the one record of his in that era that didn't have a hit on it, but it was one of the best ones. And I just went, whoa, what in the world is this? I love it. I'm getting chills in the car. That plus, again, turning me on to Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen with that great Leon Russell and Chris Stainton piano. Those two just led me into the piano. I was an old hippie jock then. I was a hooper. And but I kind of let that go because I got so immersed in it.
So later on, Bruce met Huey Lewis, and Huey was blown away by his talent, and so he tried to help Bruce get signed with a label. Here's what Huey and Bruce told me about that.
And so I touted Bruce up and down the street and got turned down by everybody, Even though my records were like #1 at the time, I'm still bitter about it. Literally, I bring Bruce Hornsby in.
I know.
I have record executives telling me, Huey, whatever you want to do, you're the man. My record's #1. I'm the man. Whatever. If you got anybody else you want to bring to the company, give us the first shot at it, Huey. So I bring Bruce Hornsby.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Bruce Hornsby,
I know,
and get turned down by everybody on the street.
Went off with my tail between my legs yet again. So I decided to make this tape, a demo with just piano, Lynn drum, Oberheim. I played synth bass, just a one-man show. And I knew a woman at Wyndham Hill. They wanted to sign me right away. Well, my lawyer, he called me up and said, "This is too good for Wyndham Hill." His first call was to Paul Atkinson. He was the head of A&R at RCA.
And the head guy at RCA hears it and goes, wow, let's make a record on this guy.
All of a sudden, we had 2 offers on, again, the least commercial tape I had made. But the first 2 songs on that tape were Mandolin Rain and The Way It Is. But it was the right thing because this was the first time I had really found my own voice that didn't sound like other people. And again, I'm soloing. Who's doing that? I said, this is something I know how to do. This is something I've dealt with. I'm an old jazz school major, so I'd like to add a little bit of that spice in it.
Man, Huey was pissed. So Bruce signed with RCA and he put out his album, The Way It Is, which is a perfect album to me. It brings me my first Evolution pick. For my A-side, I got to go with the title track, one of the greatest #1 hits of the decade. Here's Bruce on The Way It Is. But that piano figure, I mean, how could somebody not hear that and know?
Oh, I don't know, man. Everybody thought it was a B-side. Everyone at RCA did. And it was a fluke it broke in England. It was a wonderful accident. A guy at BBC heard it, put Way It Is on the air, and it just blew up. So then everyone knew it wasn't a B-side.
That's just the way it is.
Well, it's a timeless song, and it speaks to people in different ways. I mean, we know the social commentary. We know it's about, talk about the Civil Rights Act, about racism. But I've got a son, he's got autism. And he loves music, and that's kind of his superpower. He can hear a song and just remember it perfectly. And he loves The Way It Is and listens to it all the time. And he told me that the line that meant so much to him is, hey, little boy,
you can't go where
the others go.
Yeah.
Because you don't look like they do. He said, that speaks to me, Dad. I feel that way because he feels awkward in social situations. And that line spoke to him. And I know that's not where the line originally came from, but man.
No, it was about race, but it's totally relevant to his world, to his experience. And so I love to hear it. It's so beautiful.
So did you see Party Pupils is the guy's name, and he's a DJ, and he remixed The Way It Is.
That's just the way it is.
There are a lot of EDM versions. Of course, the hip-hop community has had their way with it like crazy, most notably, of course, Tupac. It was already kind of becoming a sort of a standard, sort of a recurrent, something that would last for years. But I think Tupac's version really set it into a whole new sphere. We gotta start making changes. Learn to see me as a brother instead of two distant strangers. And that's how lucky me, there's a great version from 2021 by the great Chicago young rapper Polo G. Called Wishing for a Hero. He's got a gospel choir, just beautiful.
It's just the way it is. That's just the way.
I did a duet with him for the COVID era virtual Bonnaroo festival online.
Go back to them days when we played as kids. A lot of changed. It's just the way it is.
So yeah, the way it is has had quite a post-hit life. Unbelievable.
I loved reading in the interviews where you were talking about your mom and how you were raised, and that was something that stuck with you.
Well, yeah, my mom, and on the latest record, there's a song inspired by my dad. So I had no excuse for being a kid, which we sort of were in our own goofy way. But they got a call one night to come down to the police station and pick up their kids, who were two of 6 miscreants and sinners who were throwing water balloons at college kids that won't even marry. So, that was their prize for being such good parents. Lois and Bob Hornsby, our mom and dad, we're lucky in that way. They were great parents.
On The Way It Is, the last thing I was wanting to ask you, I've always wondered, how did you marry the lyrics with, especially the piano part? Did you sit down and the piano part came first and it just came together that way? Do you remember?
In lots of cases, I'll have the lyric idea first. Sometimes it's a musical idea. Usually if the music tends to be a little more florid, a little more involved, then that was a song that started with music. If the music is real simple, tends to be a song that started with lyrics. Way It Is started with words. I wrote it in the garage of our house in Van Nuys, while I was a sideman for Sheena, and my wife was teaching school, and so we had this little house in Van Nuys within eyesight of the nearby McDonald's. The Golden Arches loomed large in our world there. So there's no one way that I write songs, but it's all about being able to, in the moment, recognize that this particular thing that I'm just improvising feels special.
So my B-side pick, it was really tough to decide which one because I love Every Little Kiss, but I went with Mandolin Rain, which showcases Bruce's gift for lyricism. Here's his take on the song. When I talk about pure poetry, the way that you married the aspects of nature with even saying, mandolin, it's just an incredible song.
Well, that's written with my brother, John Hornsby, who you mentioned before. I had a chorus. Listen to the mandolin rain. That's what I had. Listen to the mandolin rain. And I gave it to him. Hey, you want to write these verses? Here's the music. And so he did that. So you got to give him a lot of credit for that one. The first record, again, we were thinking of ourselves as a latter-day band, Levon and Robbie. So Mandolin Rain features David Mansfield. So great. And he's the one playing mandolin on Mandolin Rain. Otherwise, it's just the Lindrum and the Oberon.
Well, it's got a great bridge. I mean, that's something that's...
Oh, yeah, running down by the lake shore. Yeah.
She did love the sound of a summer storm.
And that poetry of the sound of a summer storm, it's that connection of to nature and the emotions that are tied to it.
My memory is that the bridge was about trying to make sense of the term mandolin rain in this milieu that we created. Yeah, we did love the sound of a summer storm. It played on the lake like a mandolin, like, the sound of rain on the water, on the river, on the lake.
Now it's washing her away once again.
I think it was a very specific goal there to portray very specifically what mandolin rain was supposed to mean.
So after 3 big hits from his debut album, including The Way It Is, Mandolin Rain, and Every Little Kiss, Bruce released Scenes from the Southside. Now, my A-side pick from this album is the top 5 single, The Valley Road. Here's what Bruce said about it. Valley Road is, about that wealthy versus the poor
Yes.
class and, class warfare before. I mean, it's a big thing now, but I love what you did there.
Those first couple of records and on and on, but mostly very pointed in those first couple of records where I was trying to be like a Southern writer, a Southern novelist, and create a real sense of place in my music. That was a real goal of mine artistically. So every year, like clockwork in our town, some prominent young, you could call her a society babe, a debutante, would disappear, and everyone to the rumor mill would run rampant. And hey, what happened? We think she got sent away to the school for unwed mothers, and people would go, wonder what happened and who did it. So that was it. That was a situation where I was putting myself into the role of the guy who had put the girl in the family way. Again, this seemed to happen every year for about 4 or 5 years when I was younger. This would happen. So that's the song. It really right there.
It's like the secret romances across class lines. I mean, The Great Gatsby and, kind of a Mark Twain part in there. I mean, I just love it. My B-side pick from this album is The Show Goes On. Man, this song is just, it hits you right in the heart, man. Great song. Here's what he said. That's, more from this perspective of a person who is making poor decisions.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what it is. It's about a young girl that you're interested in, and you're there for her. I've been here all along, standing here all this time, but you never notice. Blah, blah, blah. But you see them making the wrong decision, going out with these guys who didn't care a bit about them, just trying to use them. And, this is the same old tired story of young love and lust. So yeah, that's the show goes on. You know, it's had a new life as a very featured song in the show, The Bear. Ron Howard used it in Backdraft years ago. It's fun, but when your music is used in something, an artistic pursuit that you think is very strong.
For my next Evolution pick, I'm going to go outside of his albums and focus on two incredible collaborations that Bruce did amongst the many he's done, including the incredible music he wrote that Don Henley would put lyrics to. It's a great story here. The End of the Innocents, huge hit from 1989. Here's Bruce on the story, writing with Don.
I just got a phone call out of the blue from Don Henley. I don't know how he got my number, and asked me if I'd be interested in writing a song with him. We were riding high, so maybe I was sort of this year's model of 87. And so I was getting calls like that, but this was different. I was a real Henley fan. Because of that, it was an instant yes for me when he asked me if I'd be interested. So we got together at the aforementioned little house in Van Nuys, and we're trying to fool around with ideas. I've got my little Kohler and Campbell spinet up right there, right next to the door, the entrance to the house. And he's sitting in a chair there, and we're trying this and trying that. Hey, let me just play this, play that. Hey, how about this lyric idea? We weren't really having much luck. So at the end of our session, I said, hey, I've got this music bed, this track that I really like, but I'm really not happy with the words I'm coming up with. So how about if I go in and record this track for you and come back over here next week from now, and I'll have this. So a week later, I went into the studio, and he came back and I put it on. He just went, absolutely, right away. Yes, give me a cassette. Let me go away from it right now. Love this. And where I lived then, really adjacent to Balboa Park, which at that time housed a farm. And so you'd ride on Balboa, and you'd see corn growing. You'd see crops growing. So Henley's riding by, and he calls me from my house to his. He calls me. He had one of the first cell phones, a big old clunker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he called me and said, oh, my God, I'm being flooded with images. I'm riding by these farm fields and the corn and the crops and yada yada. I'm just writing. I feel like I'm halfway there, and I'm just getting home. It seemed to really inspire him. I obviously did not just seem it. He just was taken with this, and it got him rolling right away. It was as simple as that. He listened to that cassette over and over and over. He knew every little nuance.
And the perfect line for me, and it fits for all of us, we've all felt this, somewhere back there in the dust, there's that same small town in each of us.
That same small town in each of us.
Yes, so I'm so proud of it, having been a part of that. And also, the cherry on top was I was able to get Wayne Shorter to play sax solo. So that was really atypical and so beautiful. His phrasing is so soulful. It's totally him. He was such an original thinker, original musician, original phraser. So to have it, Cooch and I were in there doing this. Danny Korchmar was producing them. So Cooch and I are in there freaking out. Yeah, we're just, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is freaking Wayne Shorter here. So that's another great memory.
My next pick is his incredible playing on Bonnie Raitt's heart-wrenching classic, I Can't Make You Love Me. Here it is. Like, how in the heck did that piano part, like, you have to have the extended version. You cannot listen to that song without the extended version. They
send me the demo, and as is my wont, I changed the chords, I changed the voicings, I made it a little more, again, a little more developed or something. I just felt it was a little more interesting. Just some inner movement that I went on. I had a little movement going on in the left hand with it. I apologized when I met Mike Reed just a few years ago. I said, "Hey, sorry, I changed your chords around," and he just go on, yeah, forget it. But so that was it. It was a simple session at Ocean Way. Don was called me, and so I did that. I remember being in a hotel lounge after hours in Hollywood. I forget, it was a place on kind of 3rd and Beverly or something, and hearing this cassette with headphones and working this out, and then going to Ocean Way where Hutch Hutchinson, her longtime bass player, and Tony Bronigal on drums. 3 of us cut it. Here at the beginning, it's an electric piano, and then all of a sudden, kind of lifts it. So it's very simple. We cut that track just a few times. She was singing live. And then I just overdubbed the piano.
So going into 1990, Bruce would release his 3rd and final album with The Range, an impeccable record, A Night on the Town. My pick from this album is the top 20 smash with a blazing solo by Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead, Across the River. I've always loved this, so atmospheric. Here's Bruce on the classic hit. You were one of, like I said, 7 artists where the day your album came out, I went and bought it. I counted down the days on the calendar back in the day. You know, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen were a couple of those artists, but I couldn't wait, and I listened to every song. When I heard Across the River, I was just floored.
Well, it's typical in a small town, or probably any town, but it's more heated in a small town because everyone knows everybody. And so the rumor mill is running rampant, whether it's about a girl who's been put in the family way or a girl, in this case, who's ambitious and has gone away to try to do something special. And she'll be back with her tail between her legs, you know. So that's the lyric idea. And musically, look, it just felt like an I Know You writer kind of type of feeling, and so it was very simple for me musically to get that. And also I knew it was perfect for Garcia. He came in there, then he played on Across the River. Yeah, it was one of those times where he's just doing his thing, and we're all just going, wow, this is special. And he played on every record of mine until he passed. And after he passed, I just sampled him. So
lyrically, again, the river kind of representing that barrier or challenge.
Yes, that's right.
It has to overcome in order to reach that goal. And you use symbolism so well in that and so many other songs, but I just love that. Crossing the river, symbolizing that, achieving that, that significance,
Yeah, across the river, there lies your holy grail, in your mind, and almost it almost never works out that way when you actually make take that stab, take that shot. So yeah, that's that.
For my B-side pick, I'm actually going to skip over to his first solo album from '93. I went with Harbor Lights. It's actually my personal favorite Bruce Hornsby song of all time. Truly brings me comfort. Here's Bruce. They did this news thing where they asked me to name the 10 songs that bring me the most comfort in my life. And that was one of the songs. Harbor Lights. I'm not kidding you, Bruce. I probably have listened to it every day of my life since it came out. Yeah, that perfect beginning. It just, no matter how stressed I am, the weight of the world can be on my shoulders. I hear Harbor Lights, and even though the song's about something completely different lyrically, that piano is just so soothing. Like, it's just life altering for me.
Lyrically, it's sort of related to Valley Road in the sense that I was talking about the romantic exploits of our country boyfriends compared to our sorry ass city towny guys, and but of course, those guys were my friends as well. So there's this one particular guy who was straight country, but he had his way. He had the allure. He had something that the young ladies loved, and so this was me putting myself into his shoes, and being very confident about his rap, and let me take you down to the docks at night. Whatever you'll do, I'll do more.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. Yeah, where the marsh grass dances.
Where the marsh grass dances.
That poetry, just it takes you to that place, and with the way that the picture, the painting on the cover of the album.
Yeah, Edward Hopper.
It just that whole record takes you to a place. That's what I love about your records. You listen to it, and it's the whole record.
That's always been the intent.
But Harbor Lights is also a song that I always test great headphones on to see if they're good, because I can hear the pedal, I can hear even the moves of the piano.
You hear in the intro, yeah.
Yeah, that Pat Metheny solo.
It's sick, man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He sat right here, a yard from where I'm sitting right now, in 1992, just killing it. Finally, he'd done something so crazy, so great. And I said, "Listen, man, I got a question for you. At the height of your focus and intensity, woodshedding your instrument when you were younger to achieve what you achieved, to reach the level of playing, how much did you practice?" He said something to the effect of, "Well, from age 12 to 17, 18, I practiced 12 hours a day. I felt I needed to do that to deal with Coltrane." That was his statement. So it's it's heavy. It's amazing. We just go, well, then of course that's who you are. If you were able to put in that kind of time, and talk about stamina. When it comes up, I say there are two friends of mine who have the stamina of 2 or 3 people, and that's Pat Metheny and Spike Lee. I can't quite hang with them, but I try.
Wow, the song starts off with a perfect line for the song, "Close your eyes and slip away." That's exactly where the music does to you.
Close your eyes and slip away.
Well, that's the intent. Trying to meld the feeling of the music to the feeling of the lyrics, yeah.
Bruce has been so prolific over the last 10 years. He's released so many albums, but he just put out a new album, Indigo Park, and I'm telling you, it's a revelation. I love this album. The new single, the title track, is one of his best songs in decades. Also, the song he wrote about his father, "Take a Light Strain," is one of my favorites he's ever done. It really hits right here, like all of his music does. I can't say enough about this album, so I'm going to let Bruce talk about it.
A song that's more traditional, which is Indigo Park, which is the star of the show. I mean, it's gotten so much reaction. We're on Fallon doing Indigo Park. We had 3 of the 4 late night shows come to us and say, "Will you please play Indigo Park on our show?"
Indigo, roses in spring. Yeah.
I wrote this song, and I was getting chills while doing it. And the song was I recorded it piano, vocal, and Rick 12, and that was it. You cannot force chills.
No.
You can't force that. So when you get them on something you're working on, you need to listen to that. That's telling you something very powerful. And so Indigo Park was the first song of this record that gave me chills, and it just kept on going.
When I read that you had a dream about your father, because I've had many well, about 5 or 6 dreams since my dad passed. They're very real. And I love the story of how you said that you had this dream and you saw your dad.
Take a Light Strain is the name of the song. And Take a Light Strain was a phrase that my dad used to use, basically to say, hey, it's an old country phrase. I thought I needed to write one more song for a 10-song album. I need this song to be, I know what this record is about. I need this song to have sort of a valedictory feeling to it, a closing statement. And I'm thinking about my dad and this dream. I decided also that I was going to write just a classic old BH song. When you hear it, you go, okay, wow, this is reminiscent of something a few decades ago. In a fun way. It's not completely like that.
Take a light strain as we all try to do our best.
The third verse is the key verse, though. The third verse goes, I dreamed I stood in the square room for a while. Then the door opened, my dad dressed in style, in a white suit and matching shoes. With a big smile and stretched arms, he moved. Huge bear hug, waking up so moved, trying to go deep in the clock. Deep in the groove, whoa, never been so moved. And that's my story of the dream.
Deep in the groove, whoa, never been so moved.
This door opened, and there he is. With it. I felt, oh, this is what I need to write about. This is one of the deepest things, most moving thing that's happened to me in years. And so that's what it became. So Take a Light Strain is the final, again, valedictory moment.
Well, there you have it. Make sure to get the new album right up here at the link or in the link in the description. You've got to hear this song. You can hear this entire 90-minute interview I did with him on our podcast as well. This is just a part of it. Leave us a comment about Bruce and grab the new record for sure. Subscribe. Make sure to get your tickets for John Fogerty, the Professor of Rock Live. And man, let's have a great discussion below about Bruce Hornsby and his incredible music. He's one of my favorites. And let's just celebrate his music below. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.